Welcome back to the show. We're going to build a kit today. Let's do it. This is going to be a marathon session. I have some time to get this done, trying to knock out a kit for Kelly so I can give it to him tomorrow. Right, so what's going on, man? What is happening? We are going to get down on it and build this kit. So, all right, man, let's go. Hey, I spent some time getting this coordinated so it would go on Facebook as well. I don't know if anyone sees it there. Kelly, I'm almost curious if you go on Facebook and comment there. I'm wondering if it shows up here. So here we are opening up the kit. I built a bunch of these this year. I love them. So it's going to be bag A. It's going to be first. Usually build right on top of the manual. So this is what we're doing. And if you want to follow along, go to the link in the description and you can pull up the PDF manual if you want to see what I'm doing. Shocks are first. We're not doing those. Kelly wants to put in the incorrect oil himself. So we're going right to bag B1. Bag A is the shocks. He can do it later on his own. No problem. Let's get into it. Bag B1. We're cooking because I have to run live on Facebook. Nice. That's cool. That took me some messing around to set it up, but I think that's a good idea. And you can't do it to the group. So I was confined to doing it to my profile instead. Got my trash can here. Going to make a lot of bags today. A lot of bags. Axle stuff. B3. The manual is really good. So the first thing we're going to do is the spool gear. Spool and big ring gear in the diff. And hopefully you can kind of see my hands enough to get an idea. Another bag of grease and thread lock. I really didn't want to go on till later, but I got to do it now. And I'm hoping to have this. There's no way that this won't be done to give to you tomorrow. Charging batteries right now. Take out my Scout on brushless motor this time. Got a 1.5 ready to go right here. I pulled my tools out. Get the thread lock opened. Bolt these dudes on. All right, here's a spool. I'll look at the picture just for giggles. All right, what time is it? I'm just curious. Start time on the kit. Cheap labor, yes. Well, I love building kits. Actually, quite a bit. And I definitely put him to work plenty too. A little bit of thread lock, always. A lot of times I'll dump a pile of this bead lock out. 652. Okay, thanks. You know it. Let me dump a pile of this stuff out. A lot of times I'll just stick the screw in the tube, but these are small. $6.52. Let's go. See how quick I can do one. I think I do it faster when I'm just watching lizard people instead of trying to talk. So how's everybody doing? Whoa, cross thread. If you don't thread lock, just cross thread it. That'll work. That's what I get for tightening some before I had them all in. I got you, gentlemen. Bird Lake. There'll be a next time. Don't worry about it. And I have actually done some YouTube videos on building a base camp, which is going to be very similar to this. That's the first time I've had one be difficult. Shoot, it ain't gonna fall apart on the trail. Chilling. It must be that screw. Grand Hauler writes a nice. That screw's a mess. Yeah. The spool is fine. That's all right. I got one to replace it. You don't really need all of them, but it's okay. I got one to replace it. I actually organized all my stuff the other day. Yeah, that screw must have had fouled threads because the hole's fine. That cost me time. Oh, yeah, they're all in there. So that'll be for the next one. I'm going to bring my the bug, lightning bug pre-runner is what I want to bring. Yeah, that's the one I'm going to bring. I'm charging batteries now. I'm wondering how much beach there's going to be. It's been raining so much. We may not have the beach you think we're going to have. I hope our creek trail through the woods is not super underwater. It's been raining. Yeah, don't get any tight until you get them all in. I don't think that was my issue, but good idea not to. Jamming on a kit, man. I don't remember if we ever timed me before, but I think 4 hours is what it was one time. In the dry creek bed. Oh, that's cool too. If it's like it was last time. I thought about running my Scout on the Fly J chassis because it's fast. Honestly, the bearings hold these bolts in, but I always Loctite them anyway. It says to in the book. Weird, right? Following a manual to the letter. Let's build a kit. Should be dry. You think so? Double check them. Insane. That's it. And the bags are super nice. I mean, the only thing you get in that bag is the bearings and the spools and the screws. So that's 2 diffs. Choosy moms choose diffs. Okay. Next is the front axle. Bag B2, as it says right there. Those bearings are, they got shields on them. They've got shields on them. I think I have had kits, though. They might have been. But nothing much seems to get in these. We run them through some nasty stuff, and it's been fine for me. All right, bag B2, diff cover, that rear front axle, my bad, and some bits. So the picture shows the differential, the spool gear, and the bearings. Now open up the bearings. I don't think I need these bearings yet, but we'll go ahead and do it. This is all part of the B2 situation. Axles and wheel nuts and everything on there. So with this guy, you put one of these bearings. Actually, you can make sure ahead of time by grabbing your pinion gear, your output drive. This bearing will go on it, and then it goes in the hole. It's in there. And there's going to be a little bearing. It's the only one that's going to fit on this outside right there. And that's in. Diff gear only goes in one way. Boom. Both bearings are on it. Spins. We'll go ahead and get I'm probably jumping the gun on the axle. That's okay. So we'll grease this up and button it up. Oh man, is there some little seal in there? There might be. Yes. Not anymore. Prell. Gets the Prell grease. All right, put plenty on. I always do. Plenty. That's a ton. And then the diff cover, we're going to need a 2mm bit. Takes these long ones, just as it says in the book. I always go X pattern on these. Why wouldn't you? Are the diff bearings open? No. It's the same ones I just showed you. They're the one that went on the output drive is also shielded, and I'll show you on the next axle if you're wanting to see it. But it's basically, I'll show you. It's just like this black one here, except it's bigger on the inside of the housing. But it's got the same kind of black shielding that you see on this one. If you're using power stuff, you don't want to overdo it. With this gyro driver, I can feel pretty good what it's doing. There we go. Okay. Spin it. Make sure you're cool. I'm cool. And it's going to be the next page now. I have this huge desk, and it seems so tight on here sometimes. There's a dog. Hi, doggy. Hi, Maris. We're going to turn the page. Ding. We'll have this axle done in no time. What you doing, sis? Nothing.
Oh, we're going to pick up Palmer.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said she wanted to be picked up earlier.
Okay. Did you eat dinner?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Hi, dog.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Bye.
About lost the bearing right there in my belly. Boom. Good catch. All right. So here we are, page 12. If you're following along, ding, turn the page. And what's going to happen is this piece goes on and a bearing goes in it first. Boom. And you can only get it one way because there's a capture right there. There's a boss on there, and you're going to put a little screw in it. And it will be a 2mm as well. Boom, goes the dynamite. And the same on the other side, paying attention to orient it correctly. And once again, bearing. It's rolling away. There it is. Same deal. You're going to screw it as well. Perfect. So now the knuckles and axle stuff is happening. So we'll go ahead with the short one. Put that in. If it doesn't go in, it's just because it's not ready to. So you twist it until it does. There's a little square end on it. There, finally, goodness sakes. Okay, so that's the little one, and then we go with a bigger bearing on it, or you can put it in the knuckle. Either way, doesn't matter. And the links are on the front. Bearings in the knuckle. It's almost easier to put it in the knuckle first, to be honest. These are all shielded so far. I haven't seen any open bearings in this yet. And then the shoulder bolts will go next, but there's a little tiny bearing. It goes here on the outside. And then we'll put our hex on there and keep things where they need to be. But the shoulder bolts go in. Most of this stuff is going to be a 2.5 or a 2, excuse me, 2 millimeter deal. I can tell you what, man, those bearings are wanting to leave the chat. Boom. Awesome. Boom. That's in there. Bearing goes in. What you making, Meat Servo? Another 10-3. Go figure. Another 10-3 kit. We're making one for Kelly so I can give it to him in the morning. I'm doing everything but the shock, so I should be able to rock it out. Yeah, man. Good to see you. And then, so you don't lose your bearings, you're going to go ahead and get your, go ahead and spin it to win it. Everything's moving the way it should. Now we go ahead and we can put on our hex for our wheels. And you might as well, because in the bag, they give you the pins for it. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a 1.5 in the handy here. He's putting together my 10-3 builder's kit. Absolutely, positively. While dude's grilling steak, I'm in here working away. I think she made spaghetti tonight. It's not my favorite, so I'm just skipping it. Serrated side on the hex goes out. Otherwise, it dimensionally will not want to go in. Okay, rear axle's next. It's easier. There's less to it, but there's the front axle ready to go. Bag B3. Yep, B3, rear axle. We've already got our diff spool put together, so that's cool. I love these axial kits. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna leave that stuff in the bag in case I have to turn the page. Okay, so I'll be able to show Homie the bearing on this one before it goes in. So the first thing you're going to do is grab your output drive and throw the bearing on it for inside the case. And this is what it looks like. Dude was asking about the shielding. There we go. That's that. Goes in the diff. Seated in there nice. Spinny spin. Diff spool is already built. Only goes in one way. Throw some Prel shampoo in it. A bunch, because you do. And then here we go with the diff cover. Oh, Kelly, that's fantastic, man. I hope you ordered it through my Amazon. No, that's fantastic. Awesome. Okay, I do have to open this because the screws are in it for it. Yeah, these kits are super good. They're super complete. The Basecamp kits were just as nice. Super cool. I really enjoy putting them together. And then, I mean, of course, it's going to be these long ones here. Plastic on plastic, no Loctite necessary. Boom goes the dynamite. And we got to put a bearing in there still. And then there's 2 bearings left for the outsides. Expertly built. I've been super impressed with the 10.3s with the center mounted transmission versus the older 10.3s with the more scale location. People would complain about a click in them on the original 10.3s, but I have found these to run extremely smooth and really have liked these kits. Obviously, I'm building my 8th one. I think it's this year. So the next page is going to have us doing the axles. We'll go ahead and just scoot some of this out of the way here. Build on the book is fantastic, by the way, if you've never done one. Here, this bad screw is still hanging out from earlier. See ya. Okay, this is easy. So the axles go in and the bearings then go in after the axle goes in. There's a shoulder on these. And if it doesn't go in all the way, just turn it a little bit. The bearing goes right here. And then there's 2 little screws that capture the bearing in there. And they're actually the toughest screws in the kit to get in. Feel the love. Told you. And those just hold the bearing in. 10-3 fetish. I know my 10-3s, man. I ain't gonna lie. I know them. Down to the nuts and bolts and the shock tower differences, all that stuff. So that side's in. We'll get this one in. And then we'll finish off this axle with the hexes. And there's a little spacer that has to go on here. So your hex dodges the head of these screws we're putting in. So those little silver bushings you get, you got to use them. You got to use them. Come on, straighten out a little bit. Boom. Jamming. I keep talking about kits because I think they're super rewarding. They're super fun. If you're the kind of guy that upgrades them anyway, yes, throw that bushing on there. Otherwise, your hex will get into those screws. Let's see. You can kind of see how they stand tall, right? So you got to have that bushing on. And then with the hex, there's one side that's big for the threaded side of the pin. So that's got to be the one. I do. I like wrenching, man. It's crazy. Right, says building a big old semi. He's on that kit build train now. Oops, 1.5. Cool. So front and rear axles are done. Super rewarding. All the bearings are in. We're rocking. Now, this part sucks. It's the links. Bag C1. This part sucks. My least one of. It's all right though. Bag C, and these are going to be labeled too, C1 through C whatever. So just do one at a time, man. That's the name of the game, homie. How'd you get so fast at this? Because I've done 8 of them this year, I think. Now, might have just been kind of slick to begin with. But yeah, honestly, it's because there's so many. Okay, so go ahead and, one nice tool to have is, I actually like the older links better that had the hole in them instead of the one they got now. But anyway, ball link pliers are fantastic to have. Team Associated makes these. These are like factory team. I think they're less than $20, but there's all kinds of shock pliers out there in the world. So the pivot balls, there's one side that's going to go in better than the other. So go with the side that lets you put the pivot ball in deep. That's going to be the easier one to do. Otherwise, what happens is it takes so much force to force it in the wrong way that you usually over press it and it goes all the way through. What's up, Brian? How are you? I think some of you guys are coming in from Facebook today, which is cool. We usually do this on YouTube, but I figured out how to share it out. And one thing that's nice to remember, and I'm going to have to remind myself today. So here's the flat side that you can hold, and then there's the side that you can't. We're going to find out in a minute. One side is reverse thread. The other side is correct. So whichever one it is, that's what it's going to be on all the links, all the rod ends. So I actually use this tool too to hold the flat spot on the link, the shaft. Let's see. So this is the short side, and by the end of it, my hands are done. So I'm pressing down on the table. Let's see. That may be reverse, the short side. It's hard to tell looking at the thread. So, okay. So the short side is the correct side for spinning on the, that's too fat, for spinning on the rod ends. Short side, correct thread. Okay. Now they also call out the links of these. So build it to the book. And on this one, it shows a little bit of thread showing. So we're going to do that. So that one's correct. That means this is reverse. I like to get them started. And if I have trouble with one, I'll use a little heat sometimes. That looks good. Yeah, these are a pain, dude. It's just monotonous. That's all. So you want to have these evened up so they kind of match each other, flat to flat. And then you right here on the book, you get to lay it out and make sure that you're the dimension they want. I nailed it. Okay, that one's done. Bag C2 is next. More of the same, man. We are just jamming on links right now. This looks like it's going to be steering link. It's got different rod ends on it. And it's just more of the same. So we're just hanging out now, ladies and gentlemen. And again, find the side that goes in deeper. That's the one you want. I like putting the rod ends in, the pivot balls in before I get going. Because then when you have to spin the link, you're not going to stretch out or the plastic or anything like that. Okay, and this is going to be the same. So the short side, we said, was correct thread. Helps to know what you're getting into when you're trying to force one on. Sweet. And it shows this one being bottomed out. So when I torque this one, I'm going to do it just all the way. Boom. Reverse on this one. Jamming, G. Jamming. It's almost like I've done this before. I see Harley using a tool that does this rod end part, which might be a good investment. Okay. Get these lined up as well. And it shows it fully bottomed out in the book. And actual size is dialed. These books are good, man. I ain't gonna lie. They are really good. Okay, so next it's gonna be like Panhard and stuff like that. So bag C3 is what's next, page 16. What are you guys doing this weekend? We're running, man. We are running. My new Scout is dialed. Pumped about it. Mike Bird in the house. Hey, what up? Okay, now this one's probably the same. It's a little bit different. It's skinny. This is going to be like, yeah, the Panhard link or something. 10.3. Yes, sir. The new 10.3 kit. Very similar to the Basecamp kit with minor differences. This is a smaller flat spot, so I got my little crazy needler nose here. Try to get on that flat. Use the table to press her down. Actually, you know what? I'll just use it like a shock shaft tool. That's better. That's better. Forget the flat spot. It's so small. Now this rod is a little different, so I'm thinking this is still going to be on the short side, the regular thread direction. Sometimes I get tired of screwing around. I ain't gonna lie. Nice. It is the short side on this one too. That is, and of course they show a little bit of thread sticking out on this one too. So you're not going to bottom it out all the way. Do what the book says. You'll be happy. All right, so this is going to be reverse. And stop where you think they want you to stop. And check it on your size. Too long. No problem. Go one more the wrong way here. And one more the right way there. just get the length right because it's not all about the threads. It's about getting it right. So changes happen, things happen. So who knows? The threads may not always match up. I'm going for the length. I swear this one must be bottomed out all the way. This one must be a bottom out kind of deal then. Yep. Okay. Bag C4. I'm a happy builder down on the farm. Hello. Once the links are done, it's really starting to come together, though. That's the fun part is you start putting chassis things together. I constantly forget which side is the right side, though. Is the short side the correct thread? I already forget, dudes. It probably is not. Yes. Yes, I was right. I remembered loaf of bread, container of milk, stick of butter. I remember. Mama, I remembered. Let's see. This one, a little bit sticking out. Short side. Thank you. Oh, it's this one. No, it's not. It's this one. Maybe a little more. Nailed it. Okay. Bag C5. Jam it on the one. Two links. Oh, about threw away a pivot ball. That'd have been a disaster. There's not a whole lot of links left. There's some. Okay, and these are ×2. Yep. A lot of these have a little bit of thread sticking out on them in the illustration. It helps if you got monkey grips for hands. And on these, not only am I checking it against the book, but I check them against themselves. Once you get into a situation where there's two of them, I like to check them against each other as well. Boy, you can't do them by hand, I'm telling you. I just want squared up, that's all. Looking good. To push those together. Oh yeah, this tool will change your life, man. The pivot ball tool. Oh my gosh. And it's a shock shaft tool at the same time, and it will hold my links. Come on. It's too good not to. After a few kits, I was like, I got to get this tool. And then I'll show you a cool way that I check them against each other. Check it against the book. Looks good to me. And then I'll check them against each other by putting them both through the same hole. Nailed it. You see what I did there, I'm sure, right? Put them both on the same one and take a look at them. Yeah, man. Okay, bag C6. Jamming on the links, y'all. What we're getting ready to do now is the rear upper links. I can tell because the rod ends have a funny little bend on them. I'm telling you, especially if you aren't doing it with the right tools, that pivot ball goes in deeper on one side than the other. Do yourself a favor and do that. Take advantage of that. After these two, there's one more bag that has 2 links in it. It's the high clearance links with the bend in it. Boom. Okay. Come on. These hang off a little too, leaving some threads exposed. See what we get there. Nice. Once you get them started, man, that's good. And these are opposite each other on the bend on these upper links, the little angle on them. The book shows you all this. I'm not a genius. It just shows you, man. I need to open this one a little. We'll go a full turn because it has to be a full turn, right? Yes. Oh, wrong way. Dialed, and then we'll check them against each other again. That flat spot just fits in the back of this behind the post for the pivot ball. The Toolman Ramsey. Yes. Let's look at this one. I think the inclination, if you're not paying attention to the book, is to overdo some of these. And then you wonder why your rig's goofy. And I mean, Kelly and I will stretch and tighten stuff up all the time for our custom builds. And it's nice to see how much thread you have there to work with. You know, so when you're seeing threads exposed, you know what you're working with. And so it helps you remain confident, even though you're seeing what seems to be maybe an exorbitant amount of threads. Come on, stay in the groove, G. All right, these got to be opposite. Check them out against each other. Yeah, that's perfect, dude. That's good. Okay, one more bag of links, and then it's chassis business. The high clearance links. We're jamming, y'all. Most funnest stream on the interwebs right now. I can't remember on these which end is correct on these high clearance links. We're going to default to short side and see what we get. Where would you rather be right now? Exactly. It must be the other way. All right, on the high clearance links, the short side after the bend is the reverse thread. It doesn't have a flat spot on it like the other one, so it's hard to tell. These appear to be bottomed out all the way, and that seems appropriate. That's what I remember too on these. So bottomed out and in line with that bend. Okay. The long side on these is the correct rotation. We'll line them up. That looks good. And then we'll check it against the next one. Okay. Short side's reversed on this one. This is the last links. Woo! That's exciting. Flapping lips. Oh, nice, man. Flapping lips. You guys want to check out a H10 Origin? Ooh, nice. Build overview. Check them out, man. Flapping lips just built the H10 Origin. Well, I think you've had it built, but you did an overview on it. Is that right? You're back. What are you looking for? The lighter? I'm almost done with it. It's right here. Here you go. Built last summer. That's right. Okay, how do these size up? Looks good to me. All right, it's chassis time. Woo, Lynx, Holy Gripsville, Batman. Holy Gripsville. So I never put the servo in right away. They start showing the servo business. We're into bag D1 right now, which is, hi, Pumpkin. How doing? You got to make me one, okay? Or two. Can't make s'mores without giving Dad one. I mean, I bought them. So, all right. Everybody's favorite D bag, Pilot Ryan. Am I right? Chassis, my lassie. All right, bag D1, which is just a little tiny one. Don't get excited. It's just going to be some servo tray situation right now. Steady work. Nice. Flooring's a good one, man. I've done a lot of remodeling, and flooring's a good one. It's generally, I feel like, in a way, less surprises. What you see is what you get. Square footage is what it is. You don't tear a wall out and get into a surprise kind of situation. I already know it's going to be, I'll be in the way if I throw these screws on the table. So here's your, they want you to do the servo here. I'm not doing that yet, but you get a 23 and a 25 tooth metal arm, which is fantastic. And you get the bolt for the screw to go into the servo. So this is where I just go ahead and put it in one of the arms. So I don't have to kind of figure out what one they want you to use later. And then here we go with the servo tray. There's a little Boss, whatever, plastic piece here. And then this shows you exactly how it goes. This is for like a dig servo. You actually don't have to put this on at all unless you're going to need a small hole for a servo mount. But the best place to store the stuff, I feel like, is on the kit. So that's what I'm doing. So you get these big, fat, flat heads on here. Yeah. But Kelly's getting the full build. So I'm putting everything on. And then he's going to get a box of leftovers. And this is where I also will put in the screws for the servo. Even though it's not going in, he'll do that later. That way there's no having to dig them out. And also, you don't want any leftover like bits. And honestly, if you go by the bag, you really have nothing left over. I'm sure Kelly's got a leftover servo or something. He just ordered some 1800s for us. So, but this way you won't have to hunt for the servo screws. But yeah, so page 19, they show the servo arm, that kind of stuff happening. I always do that after the fact, and it works out fine for me. So bag D2 is going to be the chassis side that we need. And what's nice about the 10-3 kits is it's a solid chassis rail instead of a 2-part deal, which I think is nice. So bag D2 has some shock tower business in it as well. Gotta love that. And so the picture pages, orient your tray the way they say, hey, hey. And get after it. So a little bit of cross member action starting to come together. The beauty of these is just if you follow the order of the book, it puts you where you need to be. You don't have to think about it. Just do what it says, man. So don't be a goof. Get your manual right. So your orientation, and this is the way it's supposed to be. So this little business on the front is like a fair lead. You would run your winch line through there. Okay, so here we go, getting this in position. And you're also going to be doing your shock tower at the same time. And it's telling us what size screw to use. It's a 12 millimeter. All right, there it is. Get it in the back corner. One-handed. Get this joint started. And then it's page turn time. So they don't have you doing this yet right there, but you will be in a second. Page 20. Now we've got part of the panhard mount, I think, is on this side too eventually. But here's your front cross member. And they're showing the other taper head screw, but you're also going to be putting on this little guy. That's got a little locator pin on it. And this guy here. Yeah. I'm wondering, I shouldn't have maybe tightened this one yet all the way. Give myself a little wiggle here. This is the new 10-3, but it might as well be a base camp. Yeah, it's very similar. It's actually exactly the Coyote, except it's straight axle instead of not. we go. And then you're getting into the cross member through that extra little piece. Unless you're an idiot. There we go. Got it started. And then this guy here goes on the top. This might as well be base camp, though. I mean, it's very, 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 very similar. There's some certain little differences. The shock tower, solid chassis rails, that kind of stuff. But that's it. I should have tightened this other one first. All the way. But I didn't. Finally, a little goofy there. But it's easy to get ahead of yourself if you don't follow. What it wants. So now bag D3 is going to be more of the screws to really tie it together. And I believe the panhard is in this, the mount for the panhard. Yep, it is. All right, that's why you left all those other screws undone and goofy, because your panhard goes on here. And sometimes I'm ridiculous. That's how it goes right there. That's it. They're going to show you using Loctite on this one screw, and it's metal to plastic. So it's only for the screw to hold in the metal. You're not really doing it for the plastic part. So, and it's the short screw out of the bunch. But this, let's see, the long button head goes right there. And then the other two are going to be tapered. Page 20. Illustration D5. And then a taper head forward gets you into this one. Gotta like it. And then they say thread lock because it's metal. Okay, now it's to rear cross member business bag D4. So you'll get your shock tower and this middle cross member out, get your screws sorted a little bit. There's the taper. Here are the short one, that one, couple tapered head ones go together. And here it is. So the 115 is the longer button head. This is always a tricky one to get going. All of them are at a point. Once you get it started, you can get it in position, zip it. Now shock tower is going to be part of this, the rest of the webbing here assembly. And that's obviously there where it goes. And they're both the same size taper on this one. The sprint car, why would you get that kit for $400 when you can get the Losi one ready to run for less? Makes no sense. Make it make sense. Right. Yeah, if I'm getting a sprint car, I'm sorry, I'm getting the Losi one. All right, and then rear cross member begins to come on as well. There's a right and a wrong way to do it. I'm going to do it the right way. Not try to reinvent the wheel or anything. Am I right? Yeah, I had a buddy showed me that sprint car the other day, and that's exactly what we both said. Like, I mean, if you want to be competitive, I feel like that kit needs to be $200. There needs to be some savings in it if you're going to try to, because otherwise, why wouldn't you get the Losi? My gosh, what are they doing over there? I think they exist for comedy at a point. And I love my Team Associated race rigs, but they're not RC10s. They're two-wheel drive buggy, and short course, and they're modern. They weren't trying to nostalgify us or anything. All right, so this is the one difference that the Basecamp's not going to have. This is the bracket that you use for your shock tower posts, your body posts, I mean. And if you had the Coyote or the clicker mechanism for the Coyote, it goes there. So, and it's also some bracing for the shock tower going across as well. And so it's going in, and there's going to be 2 button heads that go right in the center. It's got the Reedy brushless. Oh, well, by all means. I guess maybe that'll help make up for being dog ugly. Just saying. Sometimes ugly is nice, and sometimes it's just ugly. That might just be just ugly. I'm not going to finish these off because I might wish they weren't when I zap them in the side piece, which it's obvious where they go. And it's the same size screws, so that makes it pretty easy to figure out. Started, I can tell by the sound. Yeah.
It's so golden. I didn't.
Here, set it on here for me. Stay out of the camera. I'm gonna freak out. Thank you so much. You can start on a second one immediately.
Okay. It's so golden. There's no burn spots.
I like a little burn. If you mess one up, I'll take it. Thank you so much. I'm eating s'mores, man, and you're gonna like it. Maybe I should shave first. Let's just go ahead. This is dinner, so bear with me. I'm gonna put this thing away, boy. I might go to the bathroom, yo. It disappeared. My bad. Fred, what up, man? Let's go. Building Kelly a kit so I can give it to him tomorrow, man. He said he didn't have time to do it, but he's watching me do it while he's eating steak and drinking beer on his boat. Privilege. Just saying. Okay. So it's cool. I like building kits. All right, so there we go. Skid plate bag D6, which is also the rock rail sliders as well, and the other rail. Man, that was a delicious s'more, by the way. Man. Very good. Yes. If they don't feed me dinner, they at least give me treats. And I got to go pick up one of these turkeys later. So I'm jamming the best I can with you guys right now. That was good though. I haven't eaten, so I'm glad to have a s'more. Skid plates. Now just pay attention that you got your holes oriented the right way for the transmission. Oh, did you bring me one?
No.
Oh man.
I have to unlock the front door.
Okay. It was delicious. Thank you.
But I'll make you another.
Thank you so much. Okay, yeah. So make sure when you do this, your skid plate holes for the transmission are facing the right way because there's a hole pattern. So don't screw it up. And you have to get your skid out for that as well because your screws are going to go through it. So it takes two 12 millimeter, these button heads. Those 4 screws are all the same size because I think you actually flip over and do the other side as soon as this is done. I can't remember. But line these up. There's little tiny locator pegs. And what happens is you'll get them where you want them, but then while you're screwing around with this, you'll mess it up. Okay. Here's this. Don't set it on there. Set it where my fingers are, not out on the plastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. Love you. You're the best. Okie doke. My kids are awesome. All right, put these screws in. Oh, yay. It's so nice getting one of these started. These kind of bits where you have to kind of stack it and hold a few pieces together. It's very nice to get them started. Feels good, like an achievement, if you know what I'm saying. So yes, they do have you bringing in the other rail now, like I thought. It's almost like I've done one of these before and I remembered it. And button up this other side. Try not to be an idiot though about it. Make sure I got things. Yep, that's gonna work. It's the same stuff. Good. All right. Line those up. There. Okay. Slide on this boat slider. So these skids are also unique to the new kits. You don't get them on a base camp this way. You get different ones. These boat sides are nice. The boat sides on the SR5 are different because they have provisions for rock rails also. I'm actually really looking forward to getting a hold of some of those for some of these builds we're doing. How long did it take me to get this good at building kits? About 8 or 10 of them. I've built I've only built 12 or 13 kits, I think. 2 Vanquish 8 or so axial and a RC 4-wheel drive. Awesome. So now they're going to have me start buttoning up some of this, the other shock towers and stuff. So they're showing the back next, which is bag D7. Oh, there's a s'more right there. I might have to disappear off camera and put one in my face here in a minute. Just screaming my name. Let's make myself complete the D bags first. So there's only D7 and D8 left. Then I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds while I feed my face. All right, D7 is going to be rear shock tower. If you're following along, page 23 in the new Axial 10.3 Builders Kit manual. PDFs available on the website. Super easy to get to. And following along doesn't make sense unless you're interested in maybe doing one of these down the road. All right, so this is going to be one of these bring it together deals. For me, it makes sense to start with the bottom 2 screws. It doesn't tell you what to do. It just shows you all of them. So the bottom 2 screws are the same size. They're going to be 12 millimeter tapered. These are mostly the same size, except a couple, 2 different size of button head. So that makes it easy. And again, I'm only going to start them. I don't want to go all the way until I got everything started. Do I have a preference on the kits? I mean, man, I really do dig on the Axial kits because I built so many. And I think if you're a new kit builder, I think the Axial instructions are probably more complete. You can hear when they go in. I love my Vanquish rigs, and I like building those kits, but I think they're a little bit more, not by much, but a little bit more for a modeler than these. I mean, I think you definitely need to be willing to model here. Especially once you get into the circlips and stuff, because that's a deal. And sometimes when you got a bag section like this where you've got mostly the same size screws but a couple oddballs, I think it makes sense to use up the oddballs. Yeah, it's a hard one. I really like building all of them. The Axials have been fantastic. So the short button head's going to go in the back for this cross member. I'm not getting them all the way. I just want to start them. And then this other button head's going to go up here in this webbing business that there's no plastic, there's no taper. So this is your other button head here. Everything's seeming to line up pretty good. And because I didn't tighten anything all the way yet, these top 2 here at the brace, Origin Pro kit yesterday, nice. Nice. I built a classic the other day. I would love to do one of those. I don't think I've ever had a crawler with metal axles except that RC 4-wheel drive I got. I am going to go ahead and cinch these 2 because this is the last 2 in this assembly. fantastic. Back end is dialed. So it should be front end next, right? Back end is done. Front end bag D8. Yes, last D bag here is going to be the other shock tower on the front. And this is a little different than on the base camps as well. And I'll show you why. It's because of the wonderful things he does. So the shock tower is a little different on these because you have this extra piece that goes on here on these, where you didn't have that before. It was slightly different design. So the new 10.3 and the Coyote have the same. These are identical to the Coyote, bro. You guys hear me say it all the time. It's because it's remarkable. The only difference is the axles, man. Portal or not. And you get you get different shocks with this one than the Coyote has, but otherwise. Okay, so the front, same thing, 2 of the same screws for getting in at the bottom. It's the longer screws. There is a slight assortment on this bag, D8. Same thing. I'm not going to get all the way in on these because there's some cross member shenanigans that must happen as well. And just like before, that's the next page. I'll save it. I wanted to zap that cross member one in. I'm going to cheat. Look at the next page real fast. It's totally what it is. Okay. It's fine. I'll go by the book. So I'm going to zap that in. Got that one in. Turn the page. Do what I know is next anyway. Looking good, eh? And then thanks. And then this dude goes in, and it's going to have a couple tapered heads that go in the cross member joint, and then one button head on the top right there. So line up that pin. And that's the one I'm going to get in, the one that brings these together. Nice. 2.5 hours. All right. I'm not tightening them yet, just because now we go button head, not a taper right here at the top coming in. Finish off by hand. That's what she said. And then, yeah, man, looking good. So that's pan hard side. I already did it. So this side needs done. Nice. It's like axle and link time now. That's pretty sweet. Okay, listen, I'm going to go get a drink and eat this stupid s'more. I'll be right back. All right. I need to plug in this phone. Anybody watching on Facebook, man? Like, is that even working? I can't look because my phone is what's doing it. Okay, we're jamming, yo. All right. S'mores for dinner. Okay, heated up the coffee. Now we are moving axles. Literally, they're telling us about it. So they show you the front axle first, and you're grabbing the first couple links you built. Steering link and a shorty link, your steering servo joint. All right, bag E1. So there's the links. There's the axle. And bag E1. It's going to really start coming together now. That s'more was delicious. E2, E1, E3. I really do like how they do this. Seems like a lot of bags. I mean, but it really does keep it organized quite well. So transmission's got to happen still. Yep, the long screw. So here's our axle. And we've got our long link goes in here. And the short link goes on top with a long screw. Seems to be good on Facebook. Good. So the long screw and that link. So when you're looking at the front of the axle, the left side gets the long screw and the short link. The other side of the short link goes to the servo, which is not in, right? And then the other screw is shorter, and it's going to be for the other side of the link over here on the axle. I love these things, man. I really do. And then when you're done, they work. It's just the coolest. Boom. There it is, front axle. There's nothing to do with this yet. So front axle links are on, just going by the book. So the next thing they're showing is like link mounts for the skid. And I know this because on this model, you have these big pins, like a grub screw, because of those boat side rock sliders. Now that you wouldn't have had on the base camp. So that is different. So here we go. Bag E1 still, illustration E2, page 25. So this is going to be, yep, the front. And here's the links. It's going to be two of the links. These are going to be, it's three links actually. So it's going to be two that are the same and one that isn't. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. And there's the shorty one. Double check. Yeah, that's it. So the one link is upper, and then the other two are low. And you have to look at the picture to know what to do. But it's going to be, when this is upside down, the short link will go over here up, and then the two long ones will go low down right there. So easy peasy. So we'll get that going. Go with the short one first. High. That's in. And you can't really see what's going on with the head of that one. So I like looking at the back, and you can see the shaft start to peek through the boss here. So once you see it, you're good. So you can stop. And that's what I did. Gonna bring some sausage burritos. Friends don't let friends mix breakfast with burritos. I do like a sausage McMuffin, sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin, though, I ain't gonna lie. But a breakfast burrito, you'll never find me doing that. And these, you can't see the backside, so you just have to kind of bury it a little. Boom. Buried. And I like putting the flat spots in the same spot. So forward or back, whatever, just do it the same. That way, if you're ever adjusting links, it's just easier to keep it straight in your head. There it is. That's that. Okay, so now the axle's going on. Okie doke. And that's going to be bag E2. This is where you get into the other part of the Panhard mount as well. I'm more inclined to cut my finger with these scissors than I am an X-Acto. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, so axle. Well, this is easy. So the two top ones go, well, they're the lowers, but they're top now. Okay, so now this is the one spot, if I remember right, in the book where they say the wrong thing about the screws. This is the only spot I think like that. So I'm gonna verify that. But they need to be long here, and they're button head. So use the long ones here for these links. Because what it says is use 910, and it says it's a 14 millimeter, but they show it being a 12. So it's just use the long ones. That's the only thing. Page 25, bag E2. Yeah, not a big deal. I've run into that on every one of these. Let's see. So that guy goes here. And one way to know is like you've got these bosses that those links go on here, these two pieces here. Like if your screw doesn't size up and get to the other side, that's not going to be the right one. I mean, go figure. Am I right? And I think it's a lot easier building these kits than actually some of the base camp ones. I remember it was a little harder to get the pivot balls in between stuff on those other kits, but this seems to be a lot easier. Of course I said that. If you can get a screw, yes, down the hole a little bit, that helps a bunch. It'll hold the pivot ball for you. Nice. So that's the upper link, which is there's only one of those. And then this is the spot where if I'm lowering the shocks, I'll get a longer screw here and I'll put the shocks down on this position. But we're building it stock by the book. And I'm working away from myself. Deal, sausage, egg, and cheese. Yeah, man. I think it's the number 2 meal, but I don't remember. Boom. Jamming. I may have an extra pair of shocks I slap on here just so it doesn't look disheveled while I'm doing the transmission and stuff. Turn that link, get it out of the way, the steering knuckle. Come on, baby. Yes. There it is. All right, guarantee. Okay, Panhard stuff will be on the next page. So we're staying up front, but the Panhard and the link for it will be next. We got us right side up. Now, this kit comes with an adjustable Panhard. So depending on where you put this part of the mount is whether you're portal or straight axle, which is pretty cool. So page 26, if you're following along, it shows it's going forward for the Panhard mount, and you're also going to be doing Loctite on these because it's metal to metal, and it's going to be the two shorter taper screws that are left out of this little bag. The book shows you exactly where you're putting it. And if you're ever doing one of these and you're like, I can't make sense of that picture the book is showing me, look a little further ahead. Sometimes it'll help clear up what it is you're looking at sometimes. And that keys in really nice. I'm sorry you can't see it because I'm doing it where I can see it. Metal to metal, lock tight, baby. Once you get the big heads, you can just run it in the tube, dude. It's pretty nice. Front mount for a straight axle, baby. And then the other screw for the Panhard is going to be, I should have put it in ahead of time, to be honest. But that's okay. It's going to be, it's a tapered head. Boom. So we'll get that in, make sure your angle of the dangle is correct. And there's a tapered side for it too. That's why I honestly should have put it on first, but that's okay. I never do. Cool. Metal on metal, baby. Now they're going to show going down to the axle for it. Right down here. And the screw comes in from the front because the meat is on the back for to capture the threads. Yeah. Yes. Oh. Did I get it or did I miss it? I got it. Okay. All right, Panhard business is in. You can see the Panhard there. Let's see the light. This goof. Right there. That's that. And this guy hanging is for the servo, which we don't have. So now we're moving to the backside. So they're going to have you do, there's some uppers and there's the lowers that have the bends on them. So they have you put the links in before you put in the rear axle. So that's fine. That's what we'll do. And it's going to be bag E3. And that's the last E bag. The screw that's left out of that bag we just did is the one that's going to go with the servo arm. So I actually will put it with the servo arms because I'm waiting on that. So it's a good way to not lose it. You got 2 servo arms, so you can thread into them to hold that screw. Okay, so links. Man, we are jamming, dudes. Bag E3 is going to be those straight pin guys for the skid plate. And one long one for the uppers where they mount to the axle in a minute. So the bottom links are these curved ones here, not the high clearance. So the curved rod ends. And they're going to go upper right there. Got it. Same thing you can see on these, you can see on the back side when you're in. Once you see it, you're good to stop, man. And then I'll go ahead and do the other side. You just got to pay attention to which way they're angled because they got to come in at the very top. They get narrow on top of the axle. So you see how these send it into like a triangle, so to say. There, I can see it coming through. That's good. Now the high clearance link jobbers are going to go like this. I kind of think it makes sense to put the axle in now, but it's okay. We'll do it what it says. And this one, you have to just sink it, but don't go too far. Just a hair past the meat on the skid is all you got to do there. Yeah, these go together, I think, way better than... yeah, thank goodness we got rid of the D-bags. All right, there's that. Then it's going to be rear axle time. Yep, that's what they told me. That's what I thought. So it makes sense to do the uppers first so you can fold the high clearance links back kind of out of the way and get the uppers in. This will be one long screw, does them both. On this, it's almost better to start with the first one unless you're magic. And you got one long screw, that's going to be the one. It doesn't matter which side you pick on this. But let's just do what they say for giggles. So they're having it this way. Okay, that's what I'm doing anyway. Oh, come on. I had you in there already once, you little son of a gun, you. All right, so the first one started. So it's going to hold the pivot ball in place, and then you can get your second one in. Yes. Line it up and bam, jam it. Sweet. Now you got 2 screws left for the other ones. Bing, bada, bing. There. Same thing if you're doing the shorter shock trick, you'll use the longer ones back here. Seems like 25 millimeters, if you're going to do the shock trick, is what you would want there. I think transmission stuff is next. There it is. It may be actually drive shafts are next, which hardly makes sense until you have the shocks to hold stuff still. But there it is. Axle's on it. Pretty cool. Yeah, transmission stuff is next. So let's do it. We are moving. So that's going to be bag F. Wish I was cooler. F6, F5, F4, F3, F1, F2. Okay. Some little tiny stuff gonna start to happen here, and we're into some circlip business. Make sure there's nothing there. 210. Thanks. So this little guy here is going to get this little guy screwed to it. Boom. Here's the little tiny screws for it. I'll do another little puddle because these are too tiny to use my tube trick. And I'm going by hand on this just because, so I don't have to switch tools out. Not all of us can have a DeWalt gyro driver for every size of driver. Am I right? DeWalt privilege is what I told Harley the other day because he had it for everything. It was awesome. All right. Transmission stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Then you can basically set that aside for a second. Now you got this shaft and gear and circlip to deal with. So your threaded side be off to the left. You get this little tiny pin in here. Then you're going to slide the gear on to capture the pin. Your bearing goes on it. And now that's going to stay there once you put the C-clip on. And I've gotten okay at this where I can hold the thing with my thumb and still get them on. I have a favorite set of pliers for this, and I can't remember which ones I like at the moment. I thought it was these. It may not be. This is tricky stuff a little bit. If you've never done it, man. There it is. Got her. That stuff's tricky, man. There's a little tiny circlip holding that bearing on. Okay. Those two little bits are done. Now they're going to have us get out plastic housings. Bag F2, page 28. Bearings are happening, a little bit more gearing stuff. These aren't too bad though, man. Once you get that on, it's easy. Make sure nothing's in it. F2. And then it's going to be just size it up with a book. So you can go ahead and put your bearings already on this shaft. So it will go in at the top. That's in. Then you open these bearings up. So then there's a shaft that goes, there's two holes here inside. One is where you're going to put it if you're doing portal, and the other is where you put it for straight axle. The illustration shows you that it goes at the bottom in the middle here. So that's that. I'm going to open these bearings up. All shielded bearings so far. Okay. Now this gear here is going to get a bearing inside of it. Only what fits is the one that you want. There it is. It slides down over the shaft in the middle and tooths in with the gear. Then you get a little bearing that goes there, and it's going to be a small one with a big opening because it has to go around that shaft. That's on. And then your big dog gets this big chunky bearing on it, and it goes in, and then you're all working. Then this big one goes here on this Dig Boss with the weird teeth on it. Gets a little tiny one in the middle of it, which is real easy to fall out. So honestly, it can go in after this other half goes on, but just be careful. So, and then there's one more little bearing that goes right there. So before you put the halves on, that's what you're going to get. And this big gear here, there's a big bearing on it, but there's a little tiny one in the middle. That little tiny one's the one that's going to fall out on you if you're not careful. And now getting this half on is kind of sometimes a bit of a trick. Now you're supposed to grease these up too. So do it. Get it down in there nice. That's plenty. And this is the trick here sometimes. See that little bearing? It always falls out. Ha! Boom. I am in there like swimwear. So, okay, now you put your 3 screws in to hold the case together. And that's going to be these 3 across the top with the screws that came in those bags. And you don't want to lose that bearing. I'm going to put just a hair bit of grease in there to help hold it in there. Because this will get part of the dig unit, which we're not using, but you still have to assemble. There, it's in. And with that grease holding it, it shouldn't go anywhere. Okay, now is bag F3, and you're going to get the rest of this stuff going. This is part of the dig business, the rest of the transmission. Couple circlips, plastic housing, screws. Bag F3. Okay, a little bit of circlip action on this. Should be 2 of them, or maybe it's just 1. So now what you're going to do is you're going to grab your plastic housing and you put a bearing in there first, as prescribed by the book. And then this little metal guy with the opposite kind of teeth on it goes in there, and you're going to screw a couple, should be tapers that take, nope, not tapers, button heads that take a tiny bit of Loctite. Because you're going to metal here. There it is. Looking good. Okay. And then you get this guy. Stick that shaft in the bearing. Get your square hole gear business on. You can do that without it being on in there. And I'd like to make sure it's going to go slide well. So we've got that going. And now we have to get our little yoke thing put together. So what it's going to be is there's a stop on this side built into the shaft. And then this guy here and your one circlip. They don't send you extras. I have extras, but they don't give you extra. This is the trickiest stuff for especially somebody who hadn't done it. I mean, they're so small. Okay. It's in position. This is the scary stuff here. It's on. Always scared they're going to fly off. There, heard it. It was on, but it didn't click yet. There, it's on now. So this dude here, now the yoke goes on that boss, that sliding gear. And there's a little pinhole for the smooth side to go. So back that off, put that in. And all that stuff is there. We're going to double check. Yep, there's the bearing. Okay, so now what's going to happen is you have to thread this dude on over that stuff before you put your rod end on for the dig. And this already has a bearing and that other gear locker inside. There it is. And we'll go ahead and screw that in. These are long tapered screws. That go in here. They're going to bring that whole case together. Very nice. And that slide right there is your dig business. Now we have to thread onto this with this guy right here. And you have to wait and do this after you have it in, because you can't put this rod end on after the fact. So there's a little flat spot there. Get a hold of it. Good. Now, we've realized that on these, you don't want to bottom them out all the way on the threads. Leave it kind of long, because you want full lockout. So we always leave some threads showing, maybe about 1/8 of an inch. Then what you're going to do, oh, I missed a screw on the case right there. A little taper, short taper goes here. If it was long here in the middle, it'd be getting into your gears, so it can't be. Now you got a long screw in this post, so that goes in that rod end you just screwed on, and that's going to be a 1.5-er. And this is the post for the lockout. And it'd also be what you would use if you were going to do the dig also. All right. That's it. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Okay, so now bag F4 is going to be the servo tray and the motor mount. Even though we're not doing a dig servo, you still put on the tray to use the lockout part of this. Lots of bags, boys. And we got this situation. Here's our tray for the servo and the lockout. What's nice about the book is the fold of the book will hold the screws from running away. All right, so there's these little standoff guys that get screwed in, and they go here. Gonna be short little tapers. Once you get it started, then you can let it key into the groove. It's hard to get it wrong because this stuff only fits like one way. Just sweet. Ah, you dummy. I just said that, and then I put it in upside down. Goof. All right, so there's that. And then it's in the next bag. That's fine. So this guy goes on right here, and your two little button head screws are going to be what zaps that on. Then they got your motor mount and spur going on. So this is getting there here. Full transmission. It's like done. Now this dude goes on. And then the spur gear. And these are all the same size screw for this motor plate. Then it's the spur gear. Don't y'all blow me up all at once now. This piece goes on, and it will slide down. This has 3 holes in it. It's going to key onto that piece. Big ass washer. And then a nut, same size as the one on your tires. Hold the spur in your hands, unless you're a wimp, and tighten it down. Boom. Next page is going to be, they're going to be talking about the dig servo, which we're not doing. So we can go right to the lockout, which is going to be bag your mom. F5. And dig servo business that you don't need at all goes in the box. More dig servo business you don't need right here. The round things, it's like the servo saver for the dig. We don't need it. All we need is love. Is this guy right here. So this little bracket here is the lockout. So it's going to go on like where a servo would. And before I put it on all the way, I will like to make sure. I kind of like it to be tight, because if it's tight, you know it's fully locked out. Because if I, like right now when I spin it, all my drive shafts are going to go. If you had a servo, you would do this and you would lock up the back. So I want full lock. There's full lock. With no bagginess, that means it's not going to get in the way at all, and it will be forward to the floor all the time, which is what we want. 1.5 back in. Little tiny joint right here, boy. And that's why we leave the thread showing a little bit on that dig shaft, because we know that's what it takes to make it a little tight. So if you bottom that out all the way, what's going to happen is that gear that should be locked out is going to float a little bit. Stuff may make noise or sound funny, and you don't want that. And the extra screw that came in that business, we don't need it because that's for if you were doing the servo. So that's the transmission. Locked out, both axles are going to work nice and smooth, no gears catching up on that dig deal because it's bottomed out hard. So this is what we do on the when we make 40-mile-an-hour rigs out of these transmissions. This is how we do it. So it's not any trouble at all. Bad to the bone. Okay, they're showing the motor going in and then the pinion and the cover for the spur. We're not doing that because homie's got to install his motor. But I do want to talk about, so I'm going to leave this in the bag. This is the motor cover that would go on, the pinion, and then the screws for the motor to the mount, and the grub screw for the pinion, and for the cover. We're not doing that. One thing I'll tell you, if you're going with the brushed motor, those screws are fine. If you're going with the brushless motor, you're going to want shorter screws or use some kind of washers to get those motor mount bolts away from the motor, so the threaded portion doesn't dig into the can, the windings inside, the whatever's making it work on the inside of one of those. So that means when you bolt your motor up, put washers or use shorter screws to bolt your motor in if it's brushless. If it's brushed, it's not a problem. Okay, drive shafts. Bag G1. I mean, there's hardly any bags left of this kit. What time's it getting to be? No one's here, so. All right, G1. Drive shafts are easy. You'll use Loctite on this a little bit. I already know how this goes. So you got these little metal bits here that are going to go inside the only place they fit, on the inside of the drive shaft. Boom. And boom. Loctite. Because the book says it's metal. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Drive shaft is in. I try to line those up. I don't know if it matters, but I think it probably does a little bit. Okay, that one's not all the way done. They got you building the second one next, and then we're going to do the ends on them. So this one now is the rear drive shaft. It's got a longer middle spline. Is this still on? This one's the front. All right, the metal bits are in, and same as the other one. Long spline. This is the rear. Put them in whatever you think phase is. The rear one is longer looking. I sometimes do that so they don't fall apart on you. Bag G3 is going to be the other sides, the other bits of the drive shaft. Some pins, some little barrels, grub screws, things like that. So it doesn't matter which one we take. So we go, what you're going to do is you're going to put your barrel in, leave a hole showing. Now you don't want it to fall out. At the same time, you're going to put your pin in after this metal piece. So slide your metal hat on. Slide your pin in. Put your plastic collar. Now pay attention which side of this metal piece is the big hole. And you want your big hole on the plastic too. And it's a little premature, but you want to go ahead and put these grub screws in because otherwise your little barrels and pins will fall out. That's a 1.5, so that's ridiculous. That's all you gotta do, get it started there. So the other barrel, other side, leave a hole showing for the pin, turn it 90 degrees so it doesn't fall out after you put the hat on. Dumbass. Hat. There we go. Pin. Plastic hat on the big side, holes lining up. Put your grub screw big pin in so your stuff doesn't fall apart. There it is. That's ready to go to your axles now. This one's the same. Barrel, metal hat lined up with a hole. Pin. plastic. Oh man, I got to open another bag to get the grub screws. That's fine. G4. Fine. There's my other grub screws. Slightly premature, but again, you don't want this stuff falling apart. So barrel. Metal hat with a hole. Y'all better liven up. There we go. All right. And then it's going to be, they want you to put the transmission on the skid plate. Now, after you put your drive shafts on the transmission. So that's what we'll do. Transmission. The rear one's the long one. And the short portion of that they show going on first. There's no short side. That's the same. Okay, so here we go. Rear drive shaft. And it will bottom out. So let it. Go short side to the transmission, looks like. Make it easy for you to get to it. Get the hole lined up so you can see it. There you go. And that bottoms out. Then you're going to bolt this on bag G4. We already have those screws out. So that's cool. Get your transmission where it's going. These are short little taper screws here. I'm just going to get one started. I'll just get one in. It's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and connect the drive shafts. I'm just going to put a hand job on here. Maybe not. Probably have to untape this. Keep the holes lined up. Come on. Don't want to lose that little pin. I may have to untape this son of a gun. Give myself a little length. Yep. All right. Okay. Pins back in. Front drive shaft is done. This is the 8th one I've built by the book. There are no shims in the manual, and it doesn't come with any shims in the kit. They've been fine for us. Nah, no shims necessary. I've found shims in some RTRs I've had a part to do like dig jobs and stuff on, but none of these kits have come with them, and they've been okay. We got drive shafts and axles now. Transmission hooked up. Now, because there's no shocks on it, I am going to tape those drive shafts back together so they don't undo. But man, this dude's cooking with gas. This thing is like together, bro. This thing is together. But yeah, if you're not careful, you'll lose your drive shafts. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little deal with the painter's tape. There's no motor or anything, so it's pretty loose. There we go. That is pretty much done, man. Shocks are next. We're not doing that. He's building his own. So we're going to go for the skids, the boat sides here. G5. These skids are nice. They go on super slick too. So I'm going to wish I had shocks on here. I hate it when they flop around, dude. Slide the skid on. Boom. And it's 3 little screws, little tapered ones. And then should be these 2 little guys go in from the side. Yep, right there. It's a DeWalt gyro driver. I think they're kind of hard to find now, but it's awesome. Helps when you can see. There it is. You can hear when it's working. Sometimes it's a pain to line up a thing. There's a little plastic bit on the other side in this chassis rail that will flex and make it, it's just a tiny little nothing that'll make it sometimes tricky to get this one. I got it. And the other one's got two. All right, that's those. Now it's battery tray, which is G6. And here you have the option in these kits to go with a bigger choice. So I'm putting the big one on. This kit, in a way, forces you to use smaller batteries than maybe you used to use on some of your other kits. Okay, so this is going to be the body clips and the little tongue and groove for the front of the chassis if you're doing a Coyote, right? Your wheel nuts. I mean, this is where we're at, dude. And let's see, G6. Got a couple battery tray options, and the other options are going to be in this last bag. So we're going to look at them both and pick the biggest one. Battery bits, battery tray bits. You don't have to use the forward battery tray, but I certainly like them forward like that, out of the way, especially if you're doing 2-in-1s and you're able to keep so much crap out of these things. It's nice. All right, there's that. And we'll look at this. Make sure we're putting the biggest one in. Body post business. Little tiny tool bag you don't need. If you use that to build the kit, you're a stud. That'd be ridiculous. So I'm using the biggest battery tray, and it's still not big enough for 2200. Yep, 3 sizes. You get extra webbing with these. It's cool. Go with the long one. Don't need these. And there's this little battery extender bit here. So what happens is this is going to screw on right there. This way. Okay. .146, 12 millimeters. Boom. And that goes into those rock rails, those sliders. And then this, you can slide up against this, but you usually have the spur gear cover on here. So I'm just going to put it in tight, and then he can adjust it later. But I'm going to show you that a 2200 doesn't go here. I'll go ahead and slide it out one. It's fine. He'll still have room. I always slide him out as wide as I can get him. But I run 1300s all the time on these. But a 2200 is still too big for that tray, even though it's the big one. But you probably get 1800s or whatever on there. But here is the webbing battery hold down. This thing is, I mean, from box to ready to go, dude. Bumpers, he's not going to use them, but I'll put them in. I'm not going to screw them though. Bumper. Bumper. I mean, that's it except for the shocks. That's it. The shocks, servo, the motor. But otherwise, I mean, this is a built kit. And what time is it? Mark time. How long it take? We are going to screw on the tongue and groove, though. Even though he's probably not going to use it. 146s again. So this dude here goes right there. And I don't think I'm going to open. Yeah, what the heck. Body clips, bumper bolts, wheel nuts. Boss, what up, man? Dude, his kit is done, G. I mean, serious. I'll go ahead and put his bumper bolts in just so he's got them. Right, so how long's it been? What time is it? Time check. I mean, the whole stream's been going 3 hours, 15 minutes, so it's less than that. That's cool. Okay, I mean, I'm putting wheel nuts on so he don't lose them. Talk about a roller, man. Dude's getting a roller. Well, if y'all want me to build a kit for you, holler. So like adding the motor on, servo on wouldn't take that much longer. I don't have that to do for him, but he's ready to go, man. There's the wheel nuts. Sick. He doesn't have much parts left. Couple, got to get his servo stuff happening. That's it. He's done, dudes. He's doing his own shocks. Okay. Put your own motor cover on. Okie doke. That's that. That is that, man. 3.5 hours, less than that. Pretty sweet. I'm gonna find a bag for him. There's just a couple little things left. Oh man. Body post set screws if you need body posts. We hardly ever do. A couple servo arms, 23, 25 tooth, a few extra bolts. These would have been for like body posts and stuff. And the motor spur cover. Dude is together. Give him his Loctite back. And his grease. There it is. Kelly, where you at, boy? You're ready. How cool is that? How cool is that? Kit in a box. Goldilocks. That's the cool. I think that's the coolest thing. All right. Got a few little things. He's got to mount a motor and a servo and throw his wheels on. I mean, and throw his shocks on. Done. Back in the box, G. That's that. Okay, I'm leaving. You guys want to see what I'm running tomorrow? I'll show you. Let me look at my phone. What's up? No. What's up? What time is it? When's he want picked up? Okay. I just want to see what this looks like. Oh yeah, it's live now. Crazy. Interesting. All right, guys, it's been real. We build a kit in 3 hours and 15 minutes. Fantastic. Let's see how much faster I can do it in a week or two. And I won't go live. I'll just tell you. Guys, it's been real. We'll see you. We're going to go run tomorrow. I'm going to run this dude. This Scout is killer right now. I'm digging it so hard. I got my driver and my seats in. It's looking good to me, man. Looking fantastic. So last time I ran this, I did not have brushed in it, or I did not have a brushless system. Now I do. So I am pumped to run this. And this is built on the same 10.3 chassis I just made. I just put together. So my wife just told me I got to leave to go get Junior. So that worked out absolutely perfect. I'm sure that was as boring as it could get. If you're into building a kit, though, it would have been valuable. So with that, we'll see you in the next one. Check out the rest of the channel. We have killer builds and videos of them. We're going to run tomorrow, so be looking out for videos coming out about this weekend. early next week or this weekend from me and Kelly's channel. Links in the description. If you're going to shop, use the links. Help support the channel. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Bye now.